all want to be happy. When you think your destiny is in the hands of God or everything happens randomly, then you feel you have no control. There is no chance to create your future. In Buddhism, the recognition of the law of cause and effect, also known as karma, is a fundamental key to understand how you've created your world with actions of your body, speech, and mind. When you truly understand karma, then you realize you are responsible for everything in your life. It is incredibly empowering to know that your future is in your hands. In this program, we will learn the basic laws of karma and how to change your world.
In this 6th program of our series, you'll learn about karma and the law of cause and effect. You'll begin to understand how your own actions of body, speech, and mind actually create your life experiences. And what actually determines the nature of any action, positive or negative, is our underlying motivation. Therefore, it becomes especially clear at this point the essential importance of the practice of motivation. Therefore, before listening to these teachings, in order to plant the most powerful seed we can in our mind streams, for our own happiness and for the happiness of all other living beings, let us generate an especially strong motivation of bodhicitta, the highest intention possible, in order to be able to reach enlightenment as quickly as possible, to liberate other sentient beings from their sufferings, and bring them to the perfect happiness of enlightenment as well.
Where did you come from? Well, Christians and the rest say you came from God. Western materialists say you came from mummy and daddy. Well, Buddha says you came from previous moments of your own consciousness, right? And so the implication here is kind of central to all the practice in Buddhism. And this is the implication here is the concept of karma, cause and effect. Karma. Okay? This, if you like to find a creative principle in Buddhism, this is where it is. This is what you'll find. If you want to find who am I, why am I, who made me, where do I come from, why is the world the way it is, why is there suffering, why is there suns and moons? The answer in Buddhism is karma. If you ask the question, who made me, well, Buddha says very directly, you did. So this consciousness of ours, it's not physical, doesn't come from God or Buddha, doesn't come from mother, father. Your body did, no problem. Egg and sperm, no problem. Turns into this nice body of yours. How kind of mother and father to provide the body, you know? But who you are, your personality, your characteristics, your propensities, your love, your hate, your anger, your jealousy, your pride, your craziness, your intelligence, whatever, doesn't come from mother, father. Just because we're like them doesn't mean that they gave it to us, you know. So consciousness, it's beginningless, not created, doesn't just come from nowhere. It's not some random event that just pops up out of the sky, you know. Isn't physical, not created. These are the central points about mind. And in a way, for a Buddhist or for a person even wanting to understand Buddhism, to at least hear these words is kind of crucial to an understanding of how you practice and how you develop. And all all of Buddha's teachings are based on this concept, actually. Everything we say, do, or think, in Buddhist terms, is a karma, if you like. Like everything you do say or think is like a seed that you're planting in your consciousness that will bring a fruit similar to that seed. But all karma is Buddha's explanation of why. That's all. It's simply his technical explanation of why you get harm, you get love, whatever the story is. I mean, it's a heavy-duty idea, but it's very empowering because it says, I can change it.
What we call karma, actions and their results, possesses four main characteristics. The first is that whatever action has been created, it will definitely bear its effect, its corresponding effect. The second is that whatever action has been accumulated, its result will be experienced on an increased level. It means it increases and bears wider and larger results than the action itself. Then the karma, an action which is not being created cannot be experienced, and whatever actions has been created its effect will be experienced. It's not going to be lost. Therefore, this is why it is extremely important for us to do not let even a single day go by without purifying the negative karmas, the negative actions we have accumulated that day. And therefore, this is why I keep advising that before you're going to sleep every night, review the day. Check what you have done, recognize the negative actions, the positive actions you have accumulated, and rejoice on the virtues. So then you keep multiplying those virtues by rejoicing, and make a strong determination that again you're going to do like that also the next day, and so forth. And also recognize the negative actions that you have accumulated, apply the four opponent powers. In short, make sure that you attempt to purify those particular actions, negative actions accumulated that very day, to stop their multiplying force, their increasing force, and you generate a strong determination that you're not going to engage in those actions again in the next day. So this is a very important practice to be taken in your heart. In brief, what should be done all the time is to practice awareness of the three doors of the body, speech, and mind. When you are alone, practice awareness of the mind. What's going on in my mind right now? Is my mind going into virtues or non-virtues? And while recognizing that the mind is going into non-virtues, apply the opponent powers to that particular non-virtues and bring back the mind to virtues. And while you find yourself with others, you should mainly apply awareness in your speech. Actually, for those who want to be happy, even while experiencing great mental hardships, all they have to do is to place confidence in the karma. Then you know that sufferings comes as a result of previously accumulated actions. If I have accumulated these particular actions myself, nobody else is going to experience the result but myself. Therefore, by experiencing this particular result right now, I'm actually getting rid of a huge load of negative karma that I have accumulated in the past. And that itself serves to clear completely the mind from any hardships, even at time of incredible difficulties.
If we investigate what is the essential teaching of the Buddha, what is the single most important teaching of the Buddha. Some people say it is the teaching on compassion, or which in its highest form is the teaching about bodhicitta. Some people might say that the most important teaching of the Buddha is the teachings of the true nature of self and phenomena, the wisdom teachings of the Buddha. Some people may say something else, but I think what we have to say is the single most important teaching of the Buddha is the teaching on the law of cause and effect, about karma. This is the single most important teaching of the Buddha because it contains within it all of the other teachings. By understanding the law of cause and effect and practicing it in one's life, it is the way to develop love and kindness and compassion and eventually bodhicitta. By practicing the law of cause and effect in our daily life, it is being wise, and it is the way to develop wisdom. And by practicing, giving central importance in our daily life to observing the law of cause and effect as the single most important thing, moment by moment, by doing that, we develop renunciation. There is the chance for some momentary happiness. We are very attached to momentary happiness, but then we remember the teaching on the law of cause and effect, and we remember that if I do something to get this momentary happiness, maybe I have to lie to get it, maybe I have to steal to get it, or do something. Certainly I at least have to follow my attachment. I have to follow my desire, and therefore I create negative karma. It's a negative action, puts a negative imprint in my mind. In order to get this little moment of worldly happiness, I create the potential for suffering in the future. Practicing the law of cause and effect is the key to developing every quality on the path to liberation and enlightenment. So that is the fundamental refuge. Understanding the law of cause and effect, developing faith in it, putting a key emphasis to being mindful of the law of cause and effect in our daily life so that we can observe it. Lama Zopa Rinpoche makes this joke, just ordinary mindfulness is not good enough. Now I am picking up the knife, now I am stabbing this person, now I am stabbing this person very carefully. That kind of mindfulness is not helpful. Real mindfulness has this moral connotation of knowing, being aware that one is doing something that is either virtuous or non-virtuous. Knowing that this thing is going to produce suffering now and in the future, or this action of body, speech or mind is going to produce some happiness now and in the future. We need that kind of mindfulness. Mindfulness mixed with an understanding and faith in the law of cause and effect. And the stronger the faith, the stronger the energy to withhold from doing negative things, thinking negative things, saying negative things, and doing negative things. And also the more we understand the law of cause and effect, we develop a deeper understanding of what is negative, what is harmful to ourselves and others. Right? So that is the key teaching, the key practice.
I was working in Washington, D.C. in politics in a very fast-paced environment. When you're in Washington, D.C., part of your work and in politics is people lie, and that's part of your business, is to lie. In fact, you are encouraged to lie, and you're rewarded for lying. And bosses will come up to you after you've lied to somebody, a client or a customer or someone, and say, that was great, it was great how you did that deal. Fantastic, you got $5,000 from them, and great, and so we would tell lies all the time, and I never thought there was any problem. I thought that was how I was supposed to be. So then, in my late 20s, when I came in contact with the Buddhist teachings in Nepal, and I heard the teachings on karma, and these teachings were hard to listen to. I mean, they were teachings that, if you lie, then you're going to create the cause for no one to ever believe you in the future. And if you steal, you will create a result that people will steal from you, and you will lose valuable things that you value. And there were all these teachings that, if I did these bad things, then bad things were going to happen to me. And when you get angry at somebody, you're creating the cause for someone to get angry at you and yell at you. And I didn't like to get yelled at. I don't think anybody does. So I left the teachings with what we call the 10 non-virtues, and sometimes called the 10 ethical guidelines of, not stealing, not killing, not creating sexual misconduct, and things like that, not lying and gossiping, and I started to work with those. I started to just try one, because lying in my work had been a big thing. I was really used to that. So I got a new job when I came back to America, and I was trying to be really careful not to lie. And I did have some experiences in some workplaces where I didn't think people listened to me. And for 2 years, I very seriously went after the lying. I was very careful in my relationships not to lie, and I was very careful in work, in business conduct with people, that I wouldn't lie. And after like 2 or 3 years, something started to change, and I found people were listening, and people did believe me. It started to really change my world. They say that sometimes when you change your ethical behavior by speaking the truth, by cultivating life and helping, to save lives and freeing animals, and being respectful in my relationships with people, particularly intimate relationships, and cultivating harmony in them, and trying to practice taking care of my possessions and treating other possessions with respect, people, if I borrowed something, and all these things of right speech, of speaking the truth, and really trying to use my speech meaningfully, not gossiping all the time, and not criticizing people and judging people, and not kind of dividing people in speech, and trying to have positive thoughts about things. I noticed that things changed. When you wake up in the morning, you have 2 choices. You can have a good day, or you can have a bad day. And even when bad things happen to you, depending on your reaction to them, you could say, a bad thing happened to me today, but I'm not going to get angry at my friend because that's just going to create this situation of anger to come back at me. When you start to understand it that way, then you stop reacting. Why did they do this to me? This is not fair. With karma, there's no more injustice. Things might look like it's not fair, but basically it's something you've created. So the nice thing with karma is it puts you at the controls. There isn't anybody doing it to you. You're not a victim. You're basically in charge of what kind of seeds you'd like to plant from here on out. So by watching my activities, the activities really in my body, speech, and mind, I feel like that's going to create a good chance for me, the next time around.
For me, the Buddhist instructions were similar to that of a business plan. If your forecast, if your plan, doesn't have a proper foundation, then all your forecasting is going to go off. It's just not going to succeed. I realized then I better look at what are the problems I'm facing in the company, and then I better look at what seeds I've planted in the past, because all my suffering has come from a cause. The major problem we had was inventory pilferage, stock pilferage and losses. And so, every year, merchandise, clothing, people steal them from our warehouse, from our shops, and we don't know about it till the end of the year when we look and we say, oh my God, so many goods are missing, So then I realized by looking at the teachings that, through investigation, I realized that the cause of that was stealing. Now you say, now how does stealing have to do with losing inventory? But then stealing can mean many things also, And I realized that sometimes our company did not pay on time, So by delaying payment could be considered also stealing. So when I realized that, I said to myself, this must change. So we had to renegotiate with our suppliers to get longer credit terms and then honor those due dates that we said we would meet. You see? So that was what we had to apply, that antidote, so that we could stop the cause of more further losses and further pilferage, you see. So something had to be done. We had to do it straight away. So this was the answer we thought we would have to do. The result of that, since 2 years ago, is that our inventory losses have come down, you see. So this really shows me that, Buddha's teachings do work. The more that I see that happening, it really inspires me to study Dharma, because that way, you can change your life. I could change my life. If I didn't like the causes if I didn't like what's going on, Buddhism is kind. It allows you to change so that you can create your own happiness. But you need to understand that you're creating your own suffering. And I needed to understand that I was creating my own suffering. Nobody was doing it to me. It was myself, my causes from the past. And you'll see, and I could say that, well, I don't think I did that. I don't think I did that. If my memory cannot even remember 6 months ago, then how can I remember all the bad deeds I've done 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I don't. But the point is, I've created this garden. It's got a lot of weeds, So I have to spend my time reading purification, collecting merit, studying teachings, and devoting myself to the Lama, all things that will create more happiness. And then by me being happy, then I can benefit sentient beings, because they are happy to be working in the company. They're happy because they say, things are going well and they will be rewarded too. So everybody benefits.